Yes, now is none other than royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. Who better to talk about this than you, Kins? Right, straight off, I just want to ask you what your reaction was to the announcement of these two names.
Well, first of all, you two, I've been watching you all day. Your Oprah impersonations both were spot on. I almost, I was so tickled by the whoa,
They did
Oprah.
what? They did what? It's ridiculous, ridiculous. The worst bit of journalism I've ever seen. She calls herself a journalist.
But you two were the first ones that made this really great point. The idea that it's King Charles and the Princess of Wales, it totally blows this story up because nobody's buying this. We know enough about these individuals separately to know that they are not mean-spirited, to know that there's not a racist bone in their bodies. So my reaction to hearing the names revealed is, LOL, I guess. Omid, what a joke. I mean, if this is true, how did these names get in this book? If these are inaccurate names, why are you not stepping forward and saying, not only did I not put that in that book, but those names aren't even accurate? I mean, I think that would relieve him of a little bit of guilt, and we haven't seen him do that. And, there is also, to me, this freeing feeling that it's no longer something that can be held over the royal family's heads anymore. This is a chapter closed, especially with the idea of it being two people that we just know aren't capable of such cruelty.
We've been asking our audience, our viewers today, Kinsey, for their views on whether or not it's time for Harry and Meghan to take action. In other words, both of them have said, oh, we had nothing to do with this book, or they've let it be known that they had nothing to do with this book. Omid Scobie says he didn't talk to them. He says he did talk to associates and friends, but he didn't talk to the couple directly. He says he's not actually friends with them. So in order to diffuse what has become a really, really tense situation, if they came out and denounced that book, it would be a very good thing. And a lot of people are saying, if you don't denounce it, Harry and Meghan, because of your relationship with Scobie, you effectively endorse it. I think it's incumbent upon them to stick their head above the parapet as soon as possible.
Well, thanks to the Netflix series, we got to see Meghan's hard fight against, a tabloid over a letter that was allegedly leaked by her father to a media outlet. So if Omid Scobie has access, unfair, ungiven access to a letter you wrote to the king, then I would expect for you to pitch a fit and for you to take legal action as well.
Yeah, really good point. Really
it's exactly true. She's a fan of letter writing, isn't she, on Meghan? But talking about the very concept of there being an end game here and it be the crumbling of the royal family, is it not potentially the end game for Harry and Meghan? Because it strikes me, when this was just allegation against the amorphous concept of the royal family, oh, I want to play the victim card, they're racist, I was almost suicidal, it was so hard, then people sort of had some sort of pity and sympathy with that. Everyone knows victimhood in America sells well. But now this has turned into essentially an attack on the king. Is that going to then make them slightly untouchable in the circles that they wish to move in?
Alex, you are so right, because when the Oprah interview happened, as a royal commentator, and with the George Floyd riots happening, I mean, the people were taking to the streets at the time of those accusations. There was so much tension in the United States surrounding race. And race is just such a sensitive issue. Absolutely not. We did not question. I mean, Piers Morgan was the only one that went on TV and said, I don't believe this to be true. I defended Harry and Meghan. I said the royal family really needed to address this on television because I just thought these are such heavy allegations. They have just become so obsessed with victimhood, and they have become so obsessed with exaggerating the truth. In my personal opinion, Harry and Meghan, the 3-hour car chase, things like that. High speed car chase. I mean,
in
that's
Manhattan.
Just one example.
Right.
Yeah, that's just one example. Americans specifically are looking at them and saying, you know, how truthful are you? And are you trying to monetize that victimhood? Have we been had? And, you know, should we stand behind them anymore? And I've seen a significant amount of people turn away from them, not just the public, but celebrities, brands, big, the industry. Spotify washed their hands of them almost as quickly as they signed them.
Do you have any info or any view on reports that Harry and Meghan are desperately trying to sort of regroup and change the course of their career because apparently they were absolutely stunned and shocked by how many of their ideas were turned down flat by Spotify. So these two, I think they assume because they're royal and, you know, because of their connections that Spotify, Netflix, they just do anything they said. But Spotify apparently just rejects it. That's rubbish. No, we're not doing that. I think they're beginning to realise that their royal status doesn't get their ideas immediately accepted, far from it. And they're trying to regroup and rechart the course of their career. I don't know what that means, but any thoughts?
Well, I'd say pitching Emily in Paris, but with a guy.
I love that.
Is not what I would consider an idea. That's literally just replacing another human for the other. You know, if they would have said replacing Emily in Paris with a they them, that's a little more exciting. Harry and Meghan, you guys can have that idea.
You could do Mr. Doubtfire, couldn't you? You know, a woman dresses as a man. That would be another one of their
film
ideas.
ahead of its time, evidently.
But you know, we heard that she was going to go into the wonderful world of influencing. That doesn't seem to have happened. And of course, we've also
Omid does kind of hint at that in the book. But I just want to say, it was April when William Morris Endeavor signed Meghan Markle, and you typically don't announce that you have a huge client like that without an exciting project in the pipeline ready to go. It's been April. We've had no projects announced. You know, what's going on with her? What's going on with them? Is their brand as toxic as it appears to be? And this book and this drama surrounding this book, it's unappealing to brands unless you're in the space of soap opera and chaos and tabloid. These are two individuals that look like they attract drama, and then you have on top of that Spotify saying that they really did not appreciate their work ethic and the return on investment was not there.
I mean, there were rumours at one point that Meghan fancied herself to enter politics in the Democrat Party of the United States. That's also surely blown up now, because she's essentially pointed the finger of blame at the head of state of this country and said, you're a racist and I've put all these horrible things out about you in the press. There's no way now she can enter politics, surely.
And we have seen individuals that had worked closely with her at the beginning of her stint in the United States, like former First Lady Michelle Obama, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, Stacey Abrams. These women did some virtual events with Meghan, even VP Kamala Harris. And we have seen them distance themselves from Meghan since, I really think it was Netflix and Spare. We have seen them no longer working with her. So I think you're absolutely right that they just are getting this reputation for being somewhat chaotic and toxic.
We should stress that Meghan hasn't directly accused our head of state of being racist, but we know what the conversation is right now. quick last word, Kinsey. In terms of Meghan's career, bubbling in the background ominously is her reported book that she's writing. I mean, what could that be like, given her history of grenade lobbing?
Here's what I have to say. There's no happy ending yet. Meghan Markle was a Hallmark actress who married a real-life prince. It was the story. Every woman I know, including myself, was trying to live vicariously through her. However, she does not have a happily ever after. She doesn't have a happy ending. What is the final chapter of her book? I married the prince. I was run off, had to change my phone number. I have 16 bathrooms and 0 friends. I don't think this book exists. I don't think that she's in a position to write a book yet, because Who wants to read a book that's just moaning and groaning? She's got to find her happy ending. She's got to find a light at the end of the tunnel. And these are two people that are so fixated on the past that I don't think she's going to find that anytime soon.
Quick final question, Kinsey. It's quite important. Over here, apart from talkTV, the media is kind of running shy of this story at the moment. So most of the newspapers and the radio stations, televisions are not actually naming the names that emerged in the Dutch version of Omid Scobie's book. Over there in America, I remember it well, you have a much more liberal system when it comes to press freedom. Are the media over there reporting what was in the Dutch book?
They are all saying Piers Morgan said this, redacted, but so great for Piers Morgan because people are just hopping on YouTube and going to see what Piers Morgan said.
OK.
That's the world we live in now. Like
Good
I said,
Piers.
the law doesn't matter anymore.
Good old Piers. I'll tell you what, he knows how to put himself centre stage, but I think he's done a great thing.
He's our own king, isn't he?
Yeah.